Okay. Editing here or whatever we can do else. Isn't this Doc? Let's lighten it up. Lighten this joint up. Eh? We've got let's change this. There we go. No, let's go up. Let's go up. Yeah. All right, today is September 11th. How could we forget this day that we can all remember, a day that we will never all forget? We're coming at you from the Just Good Living podcast. My name is Tyson Allen Martins. I will be with you here for about an hour and talk about that day and what happened, what grade you're in, and all that good stuff. Anyways, we will be coming right back at you with today's episode, EP number 4 or 5, I don't remember, of the Just Good Living podcast. Go on. Hey, well, anyway, so yeah, it's September 11th today, folks, and I thought I would just come out and say, personally, for me, I will never forget that day. I'm 33, so I was, it was 20 years ago, so I guess I was probably 12 or 13, somewhere in there. And I believe we were sixth grade, maybe something like that. I remember that old TV that everybody at school had on their cart. They wheeled that the big boy. The nice one that we had. They wheeled that into the library, and they set all of us kids out in the library, and we watched it. And then I think some parents came by and picked up some of their kids, and some different things like that went down. There were some people crying. I don't think for us kids we knew it was a bad tragedy. I think we probably understand it more when we got older. We probably appreciate it more now, like when you got in your 20s, because tragedies when you're younger, around 12, 13, we just knew that that wasn't a good look. Not to make any light of the situation, but that was a bad day. All the firefighters and all that stuff, that went down there and lost their lives. Regular people, first responders, we like to call them, people in the ambulance, people in the building, your workers, your everyday pedestrians walking by, all the different things that went down that day. The falling man. We'll all remember that picture of the dude jumping out the window. I couldn't really imagine what it would have been like to decide to just say, man, it's just too hot in here. It's gonna go down. I don't want to burn to death. I'll take my chances, with the sidewalk or with God or whatever he was thinking when he hopped out of that window. So that's what's going on in that picture. Like I said, that we've all seen sad times, sad days. Um, it was a bad time in the world, and I think we should never forget. It's been 20 years, and I don't think anybody does. September 11th rolls around, boy, that social media be popping. Don't seem like it's quite going quite as hard as it used to be, but I feel like that's one that we should never forget. I hope that our current administration, I hope they're thinking about that day and they can remember, because they're all old enough to remember that day. We know that. And maybe we can change some of these decisions that we've been making currently with our military, because it seems kind of odd what we got out there. We got a dude that's just walking off during press conferences and can't really get his words out right and his thoughts, and he seems like maybe he's got some problems upstairs or something. So hopefully we can figure something out with that, and they can make some better decisions, and we can keep the land of the free and the home of the brave alive. Keep it rolling, I watched a video today, and it was talking about how, about all the racial stuff that's going on, or I think it's kind of died out now. We shouldn't even talk about it. It's good, and restitution and all this stuff, man. You hit the lottery when you were born in the USA. No matter if you're black, white, Asian, green, white, whatever you are, you hit the lottery, and you're my brother. You're my people. We're all God's children. Um, it don't really matter your color or whatever. I got blood brothers. I love them all to death, but doesn't mean I won't tell them once in a while that they're being stupid. One's being better than the other. You know, it don't really have nothing to do with if one's more tan than the other. It just has to do with that one's more stupid or one's stronger than the other. He just did more crunches. Stuff like that. So that's something we need to get over and move on, because this cancel culture is killing us, man. I get started a podcast and I got like, some of my little clips be getting a few views, or getting up there around the 400 or 500s, whatever the clips. But I got like 6, 7 views, and we worried about getting shut down, and we ain't got but like 6 people watching this. As crazy as cancel culture is, my wife the other day was like, "Oh, I probably wouldn't have said that," and like, ain't nobody watching this. But you get that one person that scrolls across it, wants to shut you down. This poor old boy, this that works in the service industry and does videos and podcasts and stand up comedy on open mic nights. You're gonna cancel me? I ain't got a career, so you can't cancel me yet. But and I highly doubt. Well, I dream big, so there might be a time when. I wish there wasn't some of these videos floating out there. But until the meantime, we're just going to have fun. All right. That's all we're going to do, because this is JGL. This is Just Good Living Podcast, coming at you loud and proud. Like I'd make a shout out, like I do every podcast, to my boy Theo Vaughn up there in Nashville, or wherever he's hitting it, wherever he's rolling around saying gang, gang, and all this shit. He probably down there at the, where the Tennessee Titans throw their football. He probably out there every time a game on selling them G pigs. So, maybe I'm going to come down and get on that hustle. I might bring a load up from Oklahoma. We got some G pigs that like to roll around the red dirt. Down here, I'll bring you some red dirt guinea pigs, G pigs, as you like to call them. We'll bring them down. Some of these red dirt G pigs, boy, they come out singing Cross Canadian Ragweed right out the box. Boy, they programmed up right. Got that red dirt. All right. So we'll bring them up. Here's another thing we need to talk about. All right. I don't know how many wives cook good out there. My wife's here. I'd like to know what that was like. Maybe maybe somebody could do something. I've had like a real bad sinus infection and a few other things going on, and she's actually done good with the remedies. Her remedies are good. I've got this little deal. She does a little garlic, and then I might get her on here, and she's gonna show you that, because it's actually a really good remedy for like the sinuses and coughing and stuff. Is better than these pills. Anytime you can find something natural, I would definitely go that route. It's much better for your body, and I think the healing process is a little quicker too. Excuse me. So, anyways, um, you know, life. I think things are calming down out there. Things aren't quite as crazy as they used to be. I mean, we got a little nutty up in that White House, but other than that, maybe we'll get that lined out. Somebody's gonna get that lined out for us. We just got to keep on keeping on, keep on working and doing our thing, And like JD said, old Joe Dirt said, life's a garden. You got to dig it, bruh. You got to dig it. So we'll just keep on living by that motto, That that in life likes a box of chocolates. Never know which one you're gonna get. Just hope it ain't that cherry, boy, because that cherry hit funky. That coconut always good. We like that coconut and that nougat, but you hit that cherry, that's gonna be a long week. It's gonna be a long week. So a few things we got going on next week, like normal. I'll probably be at the Canadian Brewing Company. doing a little set on open mic night. Um, Anybody local in Oklahoma want to come down and check it out? This is a real nice brewery. They brew right there in the back, and they got a real nice bar and seating area. I think they do some type of food. They got some real good drinks. So you can get down there, get you a cold drink, some sort of a sandwich. Usually got a guitar picker or two, or do it on the banjo, and then I get up there and stand there and talk, try to get a few laughs for a few minutes. That's what I try to do. So sometimes you can't get back and everything. I feel like kids are getting so much weaker now. I feel like we, as 20 and 30-year-olds, 40-year-old people, we're getting weaker too. This anxiety thing's gotten out of control here about a year ago. So I said, I got anxiety. I don't want to go there. I don't want to do that. And boy, I used to be the life of the party back in high school. Well, you would have said that I ain't got an anxiety bone in my body. All right. Sometimes when I got around a girl, that bone had a little anxiety, a little scared, didn't know where it was going, what hallway it was gonna turn down. But most of the time that worked out too. So it's just, yeah, I don't know if it's we're just raising weaker kids, or we were raised weaker, so now they're getting raised weaker. I went to a barbecue. Uh, my buddy's house. He was doing some chicken legs and some steaks and stuff, and he called me and my lady over, and we brought the daughter. And he's got a little kid, Jason, and I said, "Where's Jason at?" I looked around, and Sarah come out, my buddy's wife, and he said, "Oh, he's in his room. When too many people come to the house, he gets anxiety because there's too many people around the house, and he ain't used to that all the time." And I'm just like, dang, bro, back in the day when we were nervous or something, and our parents had a bunch of people over, Hardy Riders, some weird shit come out to the farm, and they was out grilling, sitting under the picnic table, and smoking them Virginia Slims and stuff. We didn't feel good. Our mom just said, here, gave us a little bit of that, wine cooler, took 2 or 3 sips of that wine cooler, and we was good to go. I always loving them wine coolers. Boy, we over there in the sprinkler running around over there in the yard, and all the guys are drinking beer. These kids are goofy. They keep falling over, tripping. No, man, we drunk. Y'all got us drunk. That's why we falling over. We ain't clumsy. We've been sipping on them wine coolers since about 1:30. It's 6 o'clock in the evening. I'm about half a wine cooler down out of 5 that my mom had. We was buzzed up. Wonder where my drinking problem came from, Sharon. Been giving me them wine coolers with old Donna. Man, them are good. I don't think do they make them old wine coolers anymore? I mean, I know they make the ones I'm thinking of. I don't know, anybody my age probably knows their parents are always drinking them. I think we did a little bit when I was younger, when we got into drinking like 16, but I don't see them anymore. They were kind of like, I don't know, kind of like the old Miller style bottles. Um, they was tasty. It was like some sort of drink off the Schwann's truck, some sort of Sprite, something. But we're getting live and loud. We've got some new things coming down the pipe here. We're hoping to have some people on, do some different things. We're getting the studio tightened up, getting our little area tightened up, whatever you want to call it. I'm throwing my boom mic over my shoulder because I'm not quite sure. Where I want to get this bad boy mounted at. It's got a swivel down there, but just for all intents and purposes for today, we got it right here. So shout out to Steve for getting us set up in the studio, keeping everything legit, boy. Oh, D&H Super Truck Steve, boy. Pretty sure that's my guinea pig, bruh. Keeping him loud and proud. He ain't going nowhere. He just hanging loose, boy. Always got that one arm out, stunting. Ain't nothing like it coming down the pipe. Boy, I tell you what, that song come out by Cody Jinks. He's had it out for a while, called Mama Song. I think there's a lot of us that have been a little crazy can relate to that song, I got it. There it goes. Anyways, I'm doing all right now, Mom. I'm doing okay. It's a good jam, boy. That is a good jam. Everybody send that one to their mama. I told my buddy that that's his song. I sent to my mom. He said, I sent that to my mom too. He said, that's my song for my mom. I said, no, that's my song for my mom. Anybody out there, couples got days. Speaking of songs, got that hitter that you met your girl with. Your song, as they say, a song comes on the radio, hear some girl in the crowd at the park. Oh, it's our song, it's our song. Oh, baby, it's our song. He's just like, yeah, that's right, it's our song. What the fuck? I never heard this song before. But oh yeah, it's the first time we kissed. It's the first time, everything. Anyways, that's that's a women thing. Women are more. I think women are a little more. Got better memories for that type of shit, for lack of a better word. They think about all that stuff a little better. You know, we as men, we don't remember that as well. We remember, what we did yesterday, barely. Sometimes for me, it can be noon, and I got a hard time remembering what I had for breakfast. That's just the long and short of it. Where they say something like what some women use like 5,000 words in a day or 50,000 words in a day, and a guy uses 5,000, something like that. I don't know. You know, that's always a problem. Women just talking. You just want a simple answer. There's been more comedy stuff about that. Uh, there's been more stuff out there about that. We go on and on and on about that. They're just crazy. And then they remember all this shit. They remember so much stuff. I can't remember. I'm trying to remember stuff for work, to get a raise, to make more bread, uh, I guess. So I did a little trucking, and I don't know why I just thought of this, but this old truck driver I used to talk to, he said every time he went home on a run, a run's probably a solid week, anywhere between 3 days, anything over 3 days, we probably consider a run in the trucking world. Day and a half out, day and a half back. Sometimes you do a week out, week back, or 2 weeks out, week back home. Just depends. Running that southern seaboard, get down there on that I-10, cruising back and forth. I used to go down to Yuma, Arizona, and pick up cilantro. A lot of them dark skinned friends or darker skinned friends working in them fields and them warehouses. Boy, they load you up, man. A lot of Jose's down there, and a lot of Maria, stuff like that, Sanchez, stuff like that down there. But boy, they take care of you, get you loaded up. I take that cilantro from Yuma, Arizona. I take it all the way up to Minneapolis, to Rogers, Minneapolis, the ADA warehouse. Boy, I'd open up those old doors in the back of that old reefer, boy, and oh, it would smell good. A whole load of cilantro, man. My trailer smelled like cilantro for weeks. For weeks. That was good. That's good. And bump down to South Dakota, pick up a little bit of meat from JBS. Bring that down to Long Beach, to the port down there in California, sunny side California. Where nobody really wants to be anymore. Anyways, it sounds like it. But yeah, this one trucker, so he would, his wife started getting a little fat. Every time he went home, he felt, he was on a 3-day run, 2-week run, whatever. Then big runs, said he'd come back, and he felt like she kept gaining some weight. So what he started to do is he would put a little meth in the sugar bowl. They didn't have no kids or nothing, so he wasn't too worried about it. But I'm like, God, man, what if like some of his kids came over? Started putting a little meth in the sugar bowl, and she make that sweet tea, and and he said he'd come back. Boy, he said she'd be drinking like sweet tea all day long. She kept saying, I don't know why, but I just keep wanting more sweet tea. I can't quit drinking this sweet tea. I guess she was up to like 10 or 15 pitchers a day before he finally had to get that sugar bowl out of there. But I guess she went from about 210 down to about 110 in about 2 months. He said they didn't buy groceries for about 6 weeks, because she was on that ice. She was on that hater, that bling bling. But he got her trimmed up, And funny thing is that this dude now, he's a preacher at a church in Indiana. Good friend of my dad's. Yeah, he crazy trucker story. He liked to do that shit himself. He'd get all spun out and take me when I was about 16 in Colorado Springs, and we'd go dumpster diving. He told me we were dumpster diving. I don't feel like we were, because we go to these apartments, and he told me to look through these two dumpsters, and he was going to go the other side, but he wasn't over there. I think he was up in the apartment doing something, and used me as a cover for whatever him and my dad got going. Because I do one time remember going in and buying a bunch of Sudafed when I was 18, because you can only buy so many boxes. And then somebody else bought some. My dad bought some, and like 15 boxes of Sudafed, the real deal stuff. And we just happened to stop by and drop that whole bag off to an old boy at his shed behind his house. And I said, "There's a lot of people in there with the flu, so I'm glad we could help, Dad." But then we come home one night, and Dad's on the side of the house scaling it in the dark, and that's when we knew that Dad had a problem. Yeah, he was hitting that. He was hitting that glass wiener a little too hard or something. He claimed he just put it in his coffee. I'll tell you another time I couldn't figure out what was going on either when I was younger. I was probably about 14. We was trimming houses in Colorado Springs and Denver there when it was really blowing up in the 90s. And we would go start trimming in the morning. We do the base and the doors and the hand railing and all the trim out work. We didn't do the cabinets, didn't have that contract. We did the base, case, doors, hardware later on the second out. And my old man, we'd work. We would never stop to eat, nothing. And he'd work till like 1, 2 in the morning. I'd like get a piece of cardboard and lay down in the corner that we'd already trimmed, so it wasn't making me noise because there's 2 levels in Colorado Springs always. So if he was upstairs finishing trimming, I'd go lay down on that piece of cardboard and go to sleep. Because I mean, we get up at like 5. I don't know. I don't think there was many days he didn't sleep. Because I remember going home at like 1, and then like I felt like he was doing something. I don't really feel like he went to bed. I remember like showering and hearing him like eat a little something, and then I don't know, maybe he just laid down and rested. And then I felt like it was like an hour and a half. We'd get back up and going back to finish trimming that house, and that went on for a while. So that was pretty wild. But then I got older, and I just found out, he was putting meth in his coffee, and so he was just iced out for like 2 years. But you would have never known it. I mean, businessman, kept his shit together. We had a nice house, nice truck, all that stuff. So you would have never known it, but yeah, I did. Uh, so that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I don't know. I suppose there's a lot of things that when we were kids we didn't really understand, and then we got older and we're like, oh, okay, I get it now. I was always mad at my mom for divorcing my dad. Like, why would you do that? Daddy's so good. Well, I love Daddy. Daddy love me. And then you get older and you find out that somebody's a liar, manipulative, just kind of like what do you call it? I hate to use this word because it sounds like a Karen or some little pussy ant kid, but like a toxic type person. Because I found out they are out there. But we should all quit being so weak. Somebody's toxic, just get away from you. You got to sit around and go, oh, they're toxic. They're so toxic. You got to get away from Jimmy. He's bringing John and all the boys down because he's so toxic. Well, I think we're all a little toxic in our own way. Sometimes I go hit up that Taco Bell, and I know I'm putting some, I'm getting pretty toxic in the bathroom later on. So we're all putting a little toxin into the world, I would say. But that's the way it is. I thought it was interesting. I was watching a deal on Elon Musk. That dude interests me. He is interesting, put it that way. Definitely seen all of his deals on the Joe Rogan podcast. Shout out to Joe Rogan. And he said there was only two car manufacturers or two automobile manufacturers in the United States that have never went bankrupt. And I thought he was going to say Ford and GM. I know they got bailed out in '08, but I don't know if they went bankrupt. Apparently they did, because he said it was Ford Motor Company and Tesla, which I thought that was pretty interesting. But he almost went bankrupt too, what they're in the boom, but pulled out of it. I think he's got some pretty heavy investors. But I thought that was an interesting fact. Which really, if you think about it, we think about the Tesla and all that's pretty new, but really that dude been, he been slinging out cars for a while now. They've been out there for a while. I think it took a while for them to get perfected, but they've been in the car game for a while. I don't think so many people, are getting all privy to it in the last 2 or 3 years since they've grown some popularity. But he been slanging cars for, I'll say at least 10 years, probably longer than that. or been working on it for a lot longer than that, I'm sure. But in that car gang, it better to slang cars than crack. You ain't got to worry about as much jail time. Unless, excuse me, unless you're John DeLorean. But there again, he was trying to slang that coke. But that was dirty the way they set him up, especially if you watch that movie. That was a good movie because that was a good portrayal. I think you can find the YouTube stuff on John DeLorean and the video of him in the hotel room um, uh, talking about buying that blow. And, he was just trying to keep everybody working, trying to keep his car company going, It's a crazy world. So, people are out there doing big drug deals all the time, probably, and they don't ever get caught. Near this poor car guy, he gets to do one deal and he gets all set up. But who knows, life's crazy. It is what it is, you know. I use that a lot because it's just not worth getting all revved up and worrying about everything anymore. It is what it is. That's, people are like, oh, you shouldn't have done this, shouldn't have done that, or this happened, or, you know, blah, 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 blah. Well, at the end of the day, it is what it is. You need to treat your neighbor like you'd want to be treated. Don't lie, cheat, and steal. Work hard. Uh, love your family. Love your mama. Love your neighbor. Get a little, read a good book every now and again. Get some perspective of life. Uh, just be a good person. At the end of the day, JGL, man, just good living. That's where it's at. That's where it's at. Because we've all had our crazy days. I had them days that I thought it was fun. In the oil field, making that big money, buying them women, buying them 8 balls, partying, going to honky tonks and all that, new boots and, new shoes from Cavanders and all that, strung up and strung out. We thought we was having fun, but we really wasn't. You see the old boys from back then that didn't get into that hard partying. Well, they doing all right. They're doing all right. Which we doing all right too. Everybody always looks at the next guy, says what he has. 6 months ago, you know, I lived in a $250,000 home in a really nice neighborhood. Had lakes all around me. I had a nice 4-wind ski boat, tubes. I had my own business. I had a machine shop. I had a couple employees. And now here I am on this podcast, living in Oklahoma, uh, in about a $40,000 house, and no boat, no nice lakes around, no friends. Um, you know, so you could be sad if you want, but God has opened up a door for me and made me realize that, hey, it's time to get out there now. I'm old enough. I've been through enough stuff in life. I've got so many stories from growing up in construction, my tweaker dad, to truck driving coast to coast when I was 21, getting locked up, all kinds of wild stuff in Garden City, slanging for a while. I did 4 years in the oil field, partying like a rock star, catching flights to Vegas and just being nuts. I did all that. Started a few business. I was a general manager of a door and window company in Austin, Texas for a couple years. Had some crazy stories. There one day at work, had a UPS truck or a United States Postal Service come out, bam, slam me up, boom, wrecked my car. Bad deal. That was a bad deal. Uh, Found the Lord last year, December 14th. Hashtag love you, Jesus. Praise the Lord. But yeah, so that's led me to this point where I'm here and just trying to do some of the things that some mentors and people that I've talked to have told me to do. And it's like get out content. So I went on Amazon, got me a cheap little mic podcast set up. I got me a little PA thing mixer down here and, with a few different things on it that I can do. But mainly, anyways, a few buttons, but mainly to adjust the volume and the echo. Got another setup over here. I've had my wife on and Probably gonna get some people. I know a guy that has a grow. So we're gonna get him on, talk to him. A guy that used to be deep into Walgreens. Some stuff went down with Walgreens and CVS that we don't know about here a while back. That'd be an interesting podcast. Might get him on. But yeah, so life's changed so much for us in the last 6 months. Um, and like I said, I think it's opened up a door now for me to do this comedy thing. Cost of living is cheaper. I don't have so much stress and headache. I've been wanting to do open mics for a long time. I did my first open mic. I've said probably last couple podcasts. Last Wednesday before last. I would have went this Wednesday, but I'm just getting over this really bad sinus infection or whatever. I probably still sound a little nasally. But like I said, remind me in the comments to ask me what it was that my wife was giving me. We'll do a little tutorial about it or something, or maybe she can just come sit down on here and get on this deal with me. But so, like I said, I'm going to chase this dream. I don't know where it'll go. But usually when I start something, I finish it. So who knows where it'll end up at. I'm going to give it my all. I've been writing. I write. I got a lot of jokes, little notes that I put, little stories that I hear about, I just, I'm trying it. I got, got some Facebook Marketplace jokes. I got some different things that I'll come out with. Um, I guess I did all right my first time. There was like 7 people there, and it wasn't a comedy club, so I got like 4 or 5 laughs from this old lady and a couple from this guy at the bar. So I felt like I got 2 or 3 laughs. I was doing all right. I told my wife when I went, I said, if anybody laughs one time, I'll feel good. And it's funny, like they say, a big crowd comedians I've listened to said, you get a good crowd or something that'll carry you all week. If you have to work a regular job, it'll get you through, because a lot of people that strive to get in this business, you want to be able to do it full time. And, you know, and then truly, I think if you're a comedian and you want to make people laugh, it's not about the money. And I understand comics now because they say, oh, they just want to get rich and famous. No, you, you get addicted to the laugh and creating something and being an artist and telling a story in a way or a joke in a way that you can relate to people and laugh and your thoughts and your feelings that people understand and laugh. And that laugh is what you get addicted to. I mean, if some money comes along with that so you can focus on your craft more, then that's excellent. I mean, obviously. Um, if I could do stand up 5 nights a week, I would. Um, no, I don't know if I'd really want to do that with the job I got. That's a little intense. I got to get up early, but I suppose I could if I got offered for it. But anyways, I'm getting a little off track. But so there's I'm gonna do some more stuff. I'll put some more stuff online. I know I got that one video from the Canadian Brewing Company. It didn't sound very good. My wife was way back. I don't know why she didn't move around. I wanted to hear it better too. But I think next time we'll set up the tripod and stuff so we can do things like that. Uh, so that's where we're at. That's what I'm getting into. Things like that.